Hey guys, what's up? It's Jim from On Point Samples, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Sub-Zero project type Rawphoric melodic kick. Before I dive into it, please just, subscribe and like, it helps a lot. First of all, I'm not Sub-Zero project, you probably noticed already. I can't 100% recreate these kicks for you. And the most important thing here is that you shouldn't be expecting to sound like them.
Hey, welcome to the studio.
I'll show the techniques, and with these techniques you can maybe tune them into your own kicks and make something, unique from it. So, this is the kick we are working on, it's in F. And I rendered them in all the keys, so you can get this for free on our website, so make sure to check that out. I made a kick and I'll explain what I did, based from going from punch to bass to like full kick and processing it more and more. And those are like 3 things, so punch, bass, full kick. That's the way this thing will be presented. So yeah, make sure to download this for free on our website and leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Let's first listen to a few of their most recent tunes, and then we can determine a few of the characteristics that, in my opinion, are really prominent in all these kicks. Here we go. In my opinion, you can clearly hear 4 elements. So the first one is a very tonal punch, and you can hear this tonal punch as the main thing. And the second thing is ticky part, and you can get this by compressing your punch properly or adding some pitching to it, but you can also add a punchy snare or a top kick to it, and we'll get into that. The third thing you can really hear is a kind of sub bass, so it's like something like that. And then the fourth thing is a crunch that comes over this whole kick. So these 4 things, we'll talk about it, and we'll get into it. I'll show you how to get the punch, I'll show you how to get like the sub bass, and I'll show you how to keep processing your kick. Making kicks is all about re-rendering, and adding more effects and more trial and error. It's not like there's a golden rule on how to make your kick. It's not like, oh, you boost this frequency always and then it sounds like that. No, it's not. It's like a really, it's a trial and error process. You just, and there's tips to help out and make it more easy, but you just need to try it out and just make a lot of kicks as well. If you make 1 kick every day, that takes you 30 minutes to just work on a kick. After a month, you'll really see and notice a difference, even in 7 days. So just work on kicks non-stop and you'll get better. Just be consistent. So the first thing is work with a VST. I used Serum, and in Serum, what I did in this, it's literally this sound. It sounds like that because I added a filter, but what I did is make an LFO, an envelope, add it to the master tune, and then just open it up. You have a basic 99 kind of future house kick, I don't know. The fun part starts that you made this, and then you start adding effects. So the first effect you add is a EQ, where you just boost these frequencies. Then you add a distortion, like that. Then you boost these again. And you add distortion. And then you put it in another channel. And in this channel, you kind of do the same thing. You boost and remove some bass. You do this, you add distortion, you remove some bass. That's it. And now you wonder how will I get a talk out of this? So you can keep processing it this way, but you can also literally take a filter in Serum, comp filter, and just add it. As you can hear, that sounds pretty cool. But the important thing is that because I use the VST, I can easily tweak it. So then I rendered it, and we go into this sound. How I got there is really easy. This was the sound I first got because I used the comp filter. And then I just rendered it, and then I started adding some effects. So in this case, I boosted the frequency of the key of my song. That's a really important thing. Boost the frequency of your song. So we get that, do it again, add some fresh air, add some wave shaper. Makes it really crisp. Distortion, isotope trash to distort. Boost some frequencies again, remove some frequencies, same story there. Remove the bass, add it to this thing. There we add more stuff, more and more and more. And then we get this. And in here I add everything that comes together. So I added the snare and a top kick, so that's important. And then you get this sound. I render it, and ta-da, we have this. Because I pitched it up. So this is the sound we now have. So 5 key things to take home when you make punches. First, work with a preset in a VST, then add your EQ and distortion and all the stuff in the mixer, and then tweak the VST preset a little bit and try to find the sweet spot. Don't work with renders, work with just adding it to the next channel. Secondly, you can create automation clips of the pitch of the VST. So what I mean by that is just in your VST, create 2 automation clips of the pitch. So make one here and one there as well, and then you get a better effect. Third thing is that you can add a reverb or a comp filter on your serum and you immediately get like a talkie sound. Fourth thing, add a snare and a top kick to really get this punch out of this thing. So tonal plus a really clicky sound. So then you can also choose to boost a frequency that you really like of your kick. And in this case, it would be like this one. You can boost it. And you make an automation clip. And then this automation clip only plays at the beginning. So this is another dope tip. So in the beginning you get like a punchy like spike. You render it, there you go. So this is everything you need to know about the punch. And we will get into it sooner because it's not like I make the punch and then it's done. It's like you keep melting everything together and it gets better and better and better. Just make sure that your talk is not too distorted. If you boost a frequency, the key of your tune, and then add distortion, then it will get distorted really easily. And that's not the case. You don't want it to be really distorted. So that's the punch. That's everything about the punch. First, I'll show you a little bit about how I get into the bass there, and then I will give an overview of all the tips you can use to apply at your own basses, and it helps making kicks. So, first of all, what I made is Serum again. I go into Serum and I create my first bass there, and I get this sound. So what this is literally this sound, and I get that by a sine wave, noise, and distortion. That's it. Then I start adding effects, and these effects are a fruity limiter at first. So first put my fruity limiter, then add the distortion, so the distortion can distort this part as well. Then I boost the sub in the beginning here, so it gets the oomph sound, because if you boost the sub before the distortion, you get that. So then it's really about getting this wow sound into the sub, and that's done with an automation clip. Then I remove some highs. And then I add some more EQing where I really boost this and remove the highs. This is my sound. Then this, boost that, add distortion. That's it. And then the reverb is literally, let's see, is this sound. It's this. It's the punch. It's reverb of the punch. So I reversed it and I added it to the sub only. And then you get extra crunch. And it's just taking this talk, rendering the reverb, putting it there. So now we have this sound. Nothing much. So then, what I then get into is really adding this extra crunch. So I just took a preset from our Silent One bank. It's this one. Let's see. Where is it? Yeah. I rendered this kick from Silent One, put it there, duplicated it so I play with the phase a little bit, and then I edit. And this was just removing this, adding serum effects for a comp filter, boosting the bass, and then adding some movement. So then we get this sound. Then I render that thing, and that's where you get into the next part. So I work with combining the punch and the bass. You have the talk first. So I rendered it, drag and dropped it there, separated the bass from the talk, and then I have this sound. So what happens here is actually, this was the sound, but what I did is duplicate it 2 times, and the first one gets pitched up for 12 semitones, and the third one is the same but placed at another spot. So I play with the phase, and you get different sounds. So you might like this one more than this one. This is a really good tip, so play around with that. Then I also added a lot of stuff to the mixer. So this is the first thing I add. Let's remove some stuff. Here we go. I boost these frequencies. Then I remove the highs and create like these removals. I like band stops, I guess. Then I add distortion. Then I boost this frequency so you get the ah sound. Boost the highs to make it crunchier. Boost these frequencies. And remove this. Then I add it to this thing. In this case, what I did is just boost a little bit of the sub, add distortion, and here I removed some frequencies again. I rendered that, and then we get into this this kick. And this is kind of coming together now. So first of all, we have the punch separated again with a top kick added. And on this case, I added a few things to it. I boosted these frequencies. I added isotope thrash to distort. I added these, and I rendered the reverb, and I had this added, which is a top kick, of which I removed the bass. In case of the bass, I added the following stuff. First, create some movement with an automation clip. Then remove this frequency. Then add some distortion with the rift. And then just boost those frequencies. Then I added reverb from the talk. And on the main thing where everything comes together, I added the following things. Isotope thrash to distort. A lot of bass. Because I noticed in this Sub-Zero project tracks you have a lot of like a really big bass on the background. So I wanted that. And then I added distortion. I rendered that and I put it there. And in this case, we go into this part here. What happens here is the talk, which gets into this sound. Add some boost, like the key of the tune. Boost these frequencies. Boost these frequencies. And then we go into the bass. So, which sounds like that. And then if I add all the plugins, remove these, add those, make some movement, because I thought the kick was too static. I really wanted the kick to be more like moving compared to like a really static kick. So then I added this one for the crunch. Then I added distortion. And then combined with this sound. I render that and we put it here. And now comes a dope tip. You take this kick and you put it into nimble kick. So let me go over a few tips that are really important when making a bass. So the first one is create a good sub by making a sine wave, a noise, and distortion into one VST, a white noise, sine wave, and distortion. And then work with your VST. Keep adding stuff in your mixer without rendering, and then afterwards try to find the sweet spot of this VST by tweaking it a little bit. Then you can add movement by automating low frequencies to be boosted at the beginning of the bass tail. So what I mean by that is that you can boost the sub in the beginning and let it go down. There. So then you really go for that oomph vibe. So the fourth thing is that your bass still should be longer than 1 beat. So as you can see, I was in 140 BPM in the beginning, so it's longer. But I'm in 150 now, and I made it longer than 1 beat, because then you can make the automation clip a little bit longer. And at the end, as you see that I did here in the render, I made it shorter. So the movement that gets created here because of all the frequency automation clips, it gets pulled into the kick here because I make it shorter. So that's a dope tip. The fifth thing, play around with the phase. So stack the same bass render here on the top of each other, edit like an octave, and just really find the sweet spot for it. Sixth thing is to automate the pitch at the end, so it goes down a little bit. And I started doing that. Let's see. Somewhere here, I just automated so it goes down. So you get a little bit more interesting kick. Seventh thing is that you can add a punch reverb from the punch to the bass really subtly. So in the Sub-Zero project tracks, I don't think they have too much actual clean reverb in the kick. It sounds like it's just a punch in the bass, and it's just really blended together really nicely. But so we go into this, and then take your kick that is rendered, go to Nimble Kick, add Nimble Kick, put this render into Nimble Kick, find the right tail, stretch it, and then you get this sound. It's really, it gets more. It sounds a little bit longer, I guess. You can hear it, right? And this type of sound is really nice to have because it suddenly creates crunch in your kick. So then you render this and you put it here. Okay, so now we kind of have a kick created. And the point where we're at right now is that there isn't that many rules. You just have everything ready and you gotta keep on processing and processing. And you gotta get good at it. It's not like there's ways to do it, but you just gotta learn it yourself as well. But let's just see what I did to get into this kick. To get the final kick. So I took this Nimble Kick render and then put it there. So what it is I took the talk, made it a little bit longer, and then added the talk as well, duplicated it, make it unique, and make it really long. So then you get this sound, and then it's just a tonal part in the talk, because I noticed that in Sub-Zero project tracks. So this, render the reverb, and add that to the bass and to the thing where it comes together. So and here you have your bass. That's literally just this. Remove some frequencies and then let it play. Then we add that to this thing here, right there. And at this point, so this is where the sub and the reverb comes together, you boost the sub a lot. And then add distortion, boost these frequencies. And now you can really hear the oomph really accentuated. And I just got into this by trial and error. And yeah, so this happened. And then I added another crunch. So this is the Nimble Kick render. I duplicated it and I just put the ending part and made it like a little bit shorter. And then it gets the crunch into the game. And I just added some volume automation so it blends into it a little bit better. But this is phasing again. So the phase is so important. As you can hear, it completely changes the kick. So this is the sub and the kick and the bass, everything together into this channel here. And there I add this and just made some clarity and boost these for the punch. I render that and we get this sound. That's this one. Then I add this one to Nimble Kick and then stretch it a lot. Because when I stretch it, it gets a little bit more interesting. And then I render this, get this sound here. Let's see, get this one. And this one, I added the following effects. This one is pretty much processing. So boost some sub, boost those, add OTT to get even more clarity. Boost a little bit, not much. Add distortion. And then add ozone. And in the ozone, I made sure that the sub is mono and the other stuff more stereo. And then in this place here, I added nothing for this and just a compressor to glue it a bit, together a little bit more. Then I get one more kick. And in this kick, I literally took this one, the sub, and I routed it back into the same channel. So it would sound like this. But I routed it into this one, the one where we already put all this stuff. You get so much more clarity. So just did it one more time. This one goes into this one again for the compression. And then I added the talk. And for this talk, I added the following stuff. This was the sound. Boost that. Transient shaper to make it more punchy. Boost the key frequency a little bit more and add compression. Add a punchy top kick and then add the bass. That's it. And then I render this. And what I did there is for the punch, I added a vocal doubler. Really weird, but we go from this to this. It's just a little bit more wide. Remove the bass. Boost the home frequency, boost the tops. Make sure that the annoying peaks are removed. Add some distortion, really subtly. Then the bass is the following stuff. Limiter, ozone. Just with streaming assistant. I just wanted to edit, see what happens. And then remove those. Combine those into one channel, and in this one I put a FabFilter Pro multiband. Just a bit more clarity, and that's it. That's literally the kick. Alright, so now we have this final kick rendered and we're gonna put it into a context. So I kind of recreated Rave Into Space. I had to put it 2 keys up because the kick was made in F and not in D sharp. So and now there's just a little bit of post-processing to make it work in this context. Here are the synths without the kick and like really dry, no effects. That's it. So then I add the reverb, the delay. You can get these buzzes in our Silent One bank. I just add them here, you get the full leads, and then I need to add the kick, and I need to make this work in the context of these leads. So what I just did is remove a little bit of the tonal part, a little bit of the highs are boosted. Here's nothing actually, like maybe just add a bit of stuff there. But then in Nimble Kick, the only thing I did is stretch it 1%. That doesn't matter too much, but I equalized the punch where I removed the bass of the punch. And I added a little bit of tonality here, added some highs. And for the bass still, I really boosted the crunch here because I realized it needed to be boosted much more to work in this context. So then, as you can hear, that just this doesn't really cut through the mix, so I had to boost it a little bit. And in terms of the punch, and then it kind of works in the context. So yeah, that's everything. You can get this FLP for free, including a small sample pack on our website. So make sure to download it. If you like this tutorial, just drop a comment, leave a like, let us know what you want to see in the future. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.